Welcome, Noties. You are now tuned in with your girls, PVG of Nurse Notes.
Hi, I'm Pam.
I'm Veronica.
And I'm Gabby. And we are here to get you
notarized.
Tonight's show is going to be lit. We are talking about heart first, too. The heart is such a big topic, y'all. We're going to probably have several shows because we can't ever get through it in 1 hour. But we'll break it up for you, so we'll keep you coming back. Right now, we got to go to commercial, so come back, get your snacks. Tell them what to do, Veronica.
Get your snacks and your wine. Don't be late.
Welcome, Noties. You are now tuned in with PVG of Nurse Notes.
Hi, I'm Pam.
I'm Veronica.
And I'm Gabby. And we are here to get you notarized. Tune in to our brand new podcast, Official Nurse Notes, on Thursdays from 7 to 8.
Where we'll share our personal journeys as nurses in healthcare
to help bring access and support to the communities around us.
Make sure you tune in because this show is going to be lit.
See you there, Noties.
Welcome back, Noties. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's show. As Gabby already told you, Heart First Part 2, the heart and all of its facts is such a broad, long topic that we can never do it in 1 hour. Such a small organ does a big job in the body. So we will go ahead and just jump into our first topic to make sure we can cover more tonight. And that first topic is simply heart facts. We just kind of wanted to give you the how and the why to a lot of things that we have touched on, and maybe we got questions, comments, concerns. Hey, can you explain this? Or hey, what do you mean by that? Or just to clear some things up in case it was a little muddy the first time we went over it. So of course we know that the most important thing in heart health is blood pressure. We talk about it on almost every show.
Every single show.
And the more you say something, obviously that means the more important it is. So right back into it, you have to maintain a healthy blood pressure to keep a healthy heart. And if you're not doing that and you do have high blood pressure, you are putting stress on your heart, which is putting you at risk for heart disease and other illnesses.
And that's, can y'all talk about some of the long-term effects of not controlling your blood pressure?
Well, you're definitely going to have damage too. I'll just start from the top. High blood pressure is going to lead you to be an increased risk for a stroke. It can damage your retina, damage the vessels in your eye.
So it's going to mess up my eyes?
It's going to mess up your sight. That's why, you know, we think a lot of times, well, my vision is blurry. Okay, well, that's because a lot of times your blood pressure is high. Let's not even start with diabetes, but high blood pressure will also damage the vessels. As Veronica said in our previous show, the chambers in your heart, it can put pressure, which is going to enlarge them. It's something called cardiomyopathy.
Right.
So I'll let somebody else
And
go.
then honestly, if we're gonna start at the top, you know, let's really do it. So for your heart health, your mouth. Your mouth is one of the most important things for you to take care of. It's so close to your brain. It's so close to the heart. It's where we take in everything that we need for nutrients. So it's super important to keep that thing clean. Keep your dental checkups up to date, because when you have poor mouth health, you are at high risk of having heart problems.
Mid dentistry ain't playing when they
Mid
say
dentistry
that.
did say
that.
Commercial.
Yeah.
What is that fungus it can cause in the heart? I'm having a little brain fart. If you have poor dentition and you have bacterial infections going on in your mouth, your gums is not supposed to be bleeding when you brush your teeth, people. We're going to have a show about that too, but
it can cause pericarditis as well, which is inflammation
of the heart.
And it can cause you to have high cholesterol. I wasn't aware, and that's because it's putting plaque. If you have plaque on your teeth, it gets into the heart just like plaque in your heart, which is clogging up the walls of the heart, the arteries, and all those things, which has to, in turn, makes the heart work so much harder. So now you have heart disease.
And that's simply what coronary artery disease is. It is buildup in the walls of your blood vessels.
Right. So if you could just see, if you've seen someone who has a lot of plaque on their teeth, you can see that same plaque internally inside your arteries. Just think if you see it on their mouth and you're like, man, the toothbrush couldn't get that, then how's something gonna get it inside your heart? Like, it's seriously dangerous. You have to take care of your mouth health. And diet is important too when it comes to your teeth. There are a lot of things that are not good for your teeth, sugar being the number one. So if you eat a high sugar diet and you're not brushing your teeth after every meal, or at least a minimum of twice a day, you're gonna have cavities. You're gonna have gingivitis, inflammation in your gums. All those things come from you not eating a good diet and not taking good care of your mouth, and it's gonna lead to heart problems.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, the bottom line is take care of yourself. Take care of, your body is your temple. What you're putting in is very important.
Right. And when we talk about the vessels, we like to give you visuals when we talk about them being overworked, stretched, and things like that. So one of the examples that the ladies has here is like a balloon. You blow up a balloon over its max capacity and then deflate it. Just if you can do the visual in your head. So you think about doing that more than one time, and then maybe it pops, the balloon pops, or stretching it out. Just think of the consistency of a balloon when it's popped. That's what's happening to your vessels when they are overworked and hardened and full of plaque and all those things. So you have to take care of everything to take good care of your heart. Diet, exercise, we talk about it all the time. Control your blood pressure, low sodium. Salt is bad for the heart. Too much salt is. But you also need some salt to live. So it's like a double-edged sword. And you have to be able to manage it and know what the proper salt intake is for you. Because it's not the same for everybody. Especially if you already have underlying conditions. If you're already someone with heart problems, you probably already are on a low-sodium diet, especially if you have high blood pressure.
So stop salting my watermelon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And a lot of the
And the
foods,
cantaloupe.
we talk about processed foods all the time. We tell y'all, if you're shopping the perimeter of the store, you're more likely to get fresh, healthier foods. Once you go inside the lanes, it's more processed. It all has so much salt in it.
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all, and I feel like that's true because I was on a journey and I started eating sandwiches, thinking, okay,
Yeah.
man, I never had blood pressure problems until I started eating all that processed turkey and stuff. You have to be careful with everything. It's best to go ahead and cook you some chicken in the oven, put that on some bread and call it fed. Because
I was about to say a lot of those packaged foods, especially I think we talked about this earlier, time constraints. People try to pick things that'll make it easier to create a meal, and it's like a lot of those packaged items are going to have a high salt content.
Right.
So you have to be careful. If you're going to meal prep, I would say use raw meat, cook the meat, and then season it.
it actually tastes better too.
It does. Oh my
Right.
gosh, made oxtails yesterday.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Just saying.
It's all about what you put in those oxtails. So if
a
you
whole bunch of veggies.
yeah.
Whole bunch of veggies.
If you put a whole lot of fat in it, and for the taste, it's what we've been doing for generations. We gotta learn another way. Gotta learn another way to season our food so it still has a good taste, but it's not killing us.
We don't have
at
to
the
put
same
everything
time.
in gravy.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. You have to learn how to cook healthier. Because I know she's saying put the fat, and I'm thinking back, and I'm like, what are we putting fat in? It's already got fat in it.
Everything.
Like, what?
Growing up, that's what was in all of our
So
foods.
when you made the greens, my mama, everybody loved her greens, but they didn't know why, because it was like a heart attack in the pot. Cause she gonna cook the fat back with the greens.
Yeah,
and
greens, but I'm just saying
she
like
saved
meat.
the bacon grease from all of our bacon mornings, and she put it on top of the greens.
Well, yeah, you got to do that for greens. I'm just saying like if it's a meat,
The gravy.
make sure. No,
That's where the fat come from.
no, not my oxtail.
Have you had oxtails and gravy with rice?
No, I didn't cook them like that.
That's how I cook mine when I learned.
No, not
That's
those
what I'm saying.
oxtails.
I had them your way, they was delicious, but I always had to smother mine.
I've never eaten them in my life, so I don't know how to cook them and what you're supposed to eat on them.
It's very, very
I
good.
just know that most of the time when people I saw cook them, they put a whole lot of stuff in there. That
You didn't put neck bone? You made neck bone?
I have never cooked just neck bones. No.
What you cook with them?
It's a whole nother conversation. Wait.
I cook my bones in my greens.
Yeah,
but
because
I
they
wouldn't-
ain't real meat.
You ain't just ate neck bones?
No, because
But
it's
just
not
to cook
eating.
neck bones.
Oh, this is.
You just won't be sitting there hungry.
Okay.
I got mad
Part first.
and things.
I do not just. I've never.
I am.
My mama used to cook them.
Yes.
I have never cooked
Not
just
in my
neck bones
home.
ever.
Unless they meaty. Find me some meaty ones, because I'm not
But
going
then again, that's another
Every
thing, y'all.
homies, you know.
Everybody's different. Some people they have to have. I'm not a meat eater. I don't have to. They say it's based on your blood type. I don't know. It's a lot of science in behind it, but I'm just not one of those people that have to eat a lot of meat, and it's a whole lot of that stuff I just will not eat. You know, I mean, but everybody is different. So
And
if
do
you
everything
are a
in
meat eater,
moderation.
yes, we
And
talk
since
about that all the
everybody
time.
no turkey
different.
necks, no chicken necks.
Everybody
Y'all know
have to make a
Louisiana
different
people eat them things.
modification too.
Right, exactly. Everybody's story is not the same. We're not trying to put you all in one group. We're just saying if you want to avoid heart problems, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and all the illnesses and side effects and all those things that happen, you just have to do better with diet and exercise. It's
Make some
that simple.
substitutions, yeah.
It's that simple. But that's been our first topic, heart facts. We're gonna go ahead and
Go into our next segment.
Back to the what? Back to the basics.
all right. So our first segment of the evening has been brought to you by 817 Barbershop. Over in Arlington, Texas, y'all go see Breon. Y'all got the number. Y'all know the address. Just hit him up. All right. So our first segment, of course, is always back to the basics. And we're going to talk about the DASH diet. We've talked about it in our other show. We just wanted to hit it up again, give you a little bit more information about the DASH diet. And basically, the diet is dietary approaches to stopping hypertension, which is high blood pressure. So eating your way to health, into good health, a heart healthy lifestyle. So usually this diet is low salt. We just talked about that.
Step one.
Step one is cut the salt. Stop adding additional salt to your food that isn't necessarily needed for taste. Honestly, I don't see how people like salt like that. It's nasty to me. I don't like to taste salt on anything. But I mean, if that's your forte and you know you oversaturate with salt, probably need to cut back because there's other ways to season your food.
They probably not seasoning their food if you taste the salt.
Yeah.
Or
You
like I
gotta-
did last night with that fried cabbage, Lord of mercy, I forgot I was putting sausage in it. So you just gotta be careful. You don't really need to add salt.
Yeah.
You may need to add more vegetables.
Right, to soak up some
To
of the
soak
salt
up
that's
some of the
naturally
salt.
in your
Yes.
food anyway.
You don't have
Because
to
some
add anything.
vegetables naturally have sodium in them.
And it's released.
So yeah, so if you're cooking, it's not necessarily to add tablespoons and tablespoons of salt. You know, when we were coming
You're
up,
supposed to be tasting as you go along.
right. And when we
And
were
you
coming
want
up,
some
you know, they
greens.
taught us to plate our food. I think we've kind of gotten away from that because people are like, oh, they tell you how, 6 ounces or 8 ounces of vegetables, so many ounces of meat, maybe 6, whatever it is, so many ounces of fruit, whatever you eat in a serving size should be the size of the palm of your hand, all those things. Those things really do work when you're trying to eat a healthier way. And when you're trying to eat a DASH diet, because you're trying to give yourself more options on your plate, but also healthier options on the plate.
And I tell people, start with your protein first. That's going to make you full.
Yes.
Then go to your vegetable. And if you're going to have the carbs, go there last.
Yeah.
And that'll help you maintain your weight, eat in moderation, and intake things that's healthier. That's a way to make a healthier choice. I'm not telling you don't put the macaroni and cheese on the plate. Eat it last. If you eat that meat first, that protein gonna fill you up, and you're gonna eat your green vegetable, and then go to the mac and cheese. You might have 2 or 3 bites and be like, okay.
Yeah. And if you're somebody that's trying to make a change, you're normally an overeater, and you can admit that. You can kind of stop yourself from overeating by drinking a cup of water about 20 or 30 minutes before you eat. If you do that, your stomach will feel full faster, and you won't eat everything on your plate. And also things that we've gotten away from, especially healthcare workers, you have to eat fast. You get a 30-minute lunch, and you got to try to chunk something down, if you have 30 minutes. So that's really not enough time to properly eat your food, so you learn to eat fast. But also eating fast is not good for your health. You should always take a bite, sit your fork down, chew your food. When they say 32 times, that's a real thing. It's really good for your health, to allow your mouth to assist in your digestion instead of just running the food through there. Because the amylase in your mouth is going to break your food down.
But your brain have to catch up.
Right.
So when you're eating so fast, you don't recognize you're full. That's how we start overeating and start stretching our stomach.
Right. I just want to suggest that maybe we don't talk as much when we're eating. Start focusing and make it. I don't know how to term it, but you need to start focusing on what you're eating and how you're eating it. Because
it's
a lot of
intentional.
times,
That's what you're saying. Be more intentional about your meal.
Talking, and then you're on the phone, and then you're not paying attention to what you're doing instead of focusing on what you're doing.
Bariatrics is one of the things I did, and that's what I had to teach my patients, because that's where you get in trouble. Because you have a small stomach now, and you're trying to do, we're always distracted. We're trying to do too many things in eating. If you're not chewing enough, you're not swallowing properly, you're going to swallow a chunk, and you're going to be in trouble. Yeah. Or you might only get to eat 3 bites, and then you didn't get the rest of your nutrition for the day, because now you're still trying to get rid of it, throw it up, you got to do something with it.
And if you're not bariatric, I just want to add that a lot of times we're overeating because we think we have to finish everything on the plate. You need to just sit up there, put enough, if you have to go back for seconds, but put enough to feel satiety, or however you want to term it. Thank you. Yeah. You pretty much just want to feel like, okay, I'm good. I can make it another couple hours. Yeah, you don't need to feel over.
I agree with that. I read a study that talked about how babies had it right, and as adults, we had it wrong. If you ever paid attention, I know for a fact, having 4 kids, it's true. When you give them their food, it takes them an hour to eat. They playing around with it, they smelling it, they tasting it, they doing all these things, and they're taking their time chewing their food. By the time they get in, the age to sit in a high chair and start eating with a spoon, that slow eating is a very good habit to keep. And as they get older, if you don't stray them from that, it will keep them thinner, because they won't overeat, and they can recognize when they're full. But what happens, especially in Black households, if I put that on your plate, you're going to eat all the food on their plate, because you're not going to waste anything. And we have to get away from that. We have to stop teaching our kids that they have to overeat because we bought it. Stop putting all the food on their plate.
Yeah. Well, quit talking to Big Mama while you fixing the plate. Now you done made my plate look like Daddy plate, and you telling me I can't leave the table till I finish it.
Yeah. Like that's too much food. Or they may just not want that food.
And that's a trained thing to overeat. You train your body to overeat, because naturally the body is not going to overeat. It's not going to want all that extra food. But then once again, we tell you all the time, the body's so smart, it stretches your stomach out. Now you have a bigger stomach than a normal person because you're overeating.
Yep. True. So we're going to wrap that up. We're going to go into commercial. We're going to pay these bills that got us looking fly, you know what I'm saying? So
we'll be back.
You are now tuned in with PBG of Nurse Notes.
Hi, I'm Pam.
I'm Veronica.
And I'm Gabby. And we are here to get you notarized.
Catch our all-new podcast
every Thursday night from 7 to 8 p.m.
on YouTube, Official Nurse Notes, and Villa Cooler Radio.
You can also watch us on our website at www.officialnursenotes.com.
Please go like, follow, and share on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you there, noties. Welcome back, noties. Thank you so much once again for tuning in to tonight's show, Heart First Part 2. All right. And we talked to you about heart facts and a little bit about the DASH diet. So we'll just go ahead and jump straight on into our second topic, which is heart attack 101.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a heart attack?
It's when your heart is attacked, when the muscle cannot get the oxygen and the nutrients it needs.
That's putting it lightly. Gabby.
God, no, what?
Gabby was like, let me make it plain.
Let me just make it real plain
Let me
and
just
clear.
make it-
It's when a little ninja. It's your
Hey, you've been attacked. You've been attacked. Your heart had an
But
attack.
yes.
So you may hear medical professionals call it a myocardial infarction. I can't talk either.
Just think about that little
They
ninja.
say big words, girl. I'm like,
We just
struggle
don't-
bus with words.
No
baby.
medical jargon.
Right.
No, they need to know when the
They
doctor
do.
come in there that infarction. How you say it?
Infarction.
It is
See,
myocardial
she's
infarction.
the English teacher. Sometimes
Professor. Call her Professor B.
I'll be messing up these words.
But so we wanted to just give you some things to look for, because sometimes you can save your own life if you can
Thanks.
recognize that you're having a heart attack or possibly having a heart attack and not just thinking, oh yeah, that'll go away, or just ignoring the signs. We
Yes.
talked to y'all about
We've
that
lost
before.
Too many. I personally know too many black men that have thought, playing back. One man touched my heart playing basketball. He didn't make it home to his wife.
Wow.
Was right outside of the hospital and thought. He called and was like, oh, I ain't gonna go in there.
Wow.
And she couldn't convince him to go in there. He didn't make it home. He was
It's
just on
real.
the side of the road and
It's
they found him.
real. It's real.
Wow.
Or people, especially strenuous activities, you'll definitely see that happen. Because when we say lack of oxygen to the heart, you're thinking about it. You're making your blood race. Your heart is trying to pump, and it can't always catch up. Or you can have a blockage that you didn't know about. You can have plaque there that you didn't know about. So it's
Every
definitely
heart
a real
attack
thing.
is different.
And that's what happens in the heart, oxygenation. Going from one side to your blood, it's oxygenated on one side and not on the other. So, and it goes through your lungs to get the oxygen to put it back into your body. So during that process, if you miss a beat and you're not getting enough oxygen, your heart is gonna.
And that's
When
when
we
they
talking about blood vessels.
No, I was just saying that's when they come into the ED. Oh my gosh, and then they have to go to come on, give it to me, cath lab, and they have 3 vessels that are blocked, and they have to get a whole cabbage, and I mean you just never know. But that's why it's important to have a primary physician.
It is, because you need to get those things checked. Some of the heart conditions can be found with just a simple EKG.
And when she says cabbage, it's a coronary artery bypass graft. That's like a whole serious open
It's a
heart
big
surgery.
heart.
It's a big deal. But like she said, every heart attack for every person, it's gonna be different. But most of the time, it's a mild pain or discomfort in the chest that you might feel.
Women might have jaw pain.
Women
Yeah.
also
Or
might
shoulder
just
pain.
have nausea. You think you got GI upset. That's the big one. They're just nauseated for 2 days. Girl, they having a whole heart attack.
Oh, the whole event.
Shortness of
But they ain't
breath.
checked your blood
Yes.
pressure.
Yeah, shortness of breath. People
is-
don't even talk about that one a lot because they associate shortness of breath with respiratory issues. But you can be having a heart attack and experience shortness of breath.
They
It
said
is
it.
called the
No,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
It
We
was
just got a
called
lot of facts. girl.
Cardiopulmonary System.
Yeah.
The heart and the lungs work together, and veins and arteries, they carry blood to and from the heart. When we saying blood vessels, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
I was just gonna say a lot of people say it feels like an elephant is on their chest. So you think about lack of oxygen, the blood can't flow into the lungs to get the oxygenated blood back. So you just feel you can't even catch your breath. So
Some people break into a sweat, a cold, what they call a cold sweat.
Yeah.
oh, that's scary.
It is scary. And just think that sometimes you don't even get that. Sometimes it can happen so fast you don't even notice any symptoms. And for my sister, when she died in 2015, it was in her sleep, but it was a massive, that's how they turn, a massive heart attack in her sleep. I can't even imagine, like, you know, you had a massive heart attack and didn't even get a chance. You didn't even get a chance to call 911, just
or ask for help or anything.
Yeah, and they say the last statistic I looked at, it was like almost 50% of men don't survive their first heart attack.
Yeah.
So heart health is very important. You may just have numbness and tingling in your arms. Something's not right.
Yeah.
You don't just develop that or
right.
lightheadedness.
right.
You need to get these things. We're not telling you to be OCD going to the ER all the time, but you're gonna know that feeling is not right. You have that feeling
headaches.
of impending doom.
That's what I'm thinking about. Constant headaches, dizziness, blurry vision. You probably need to get that checked out.
Right. Before the heart attack. Because some people do get a lot of warning signs and they just think it's something else. I'm tired. Or I did too much. Or I overdid it today. And people are getting on new diets, new workout regimens, and have never been to the doctor to get a baseline. Gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
You gotta see
stop.
how your heart is even functioning.
Yes.
Your number one indicator would be your high blood pressure. Like when they tell you high blood pressure, you gotta think, okay, I'm at risk for a heart attack. Like period. At risk for stroke. Let's get this under control.
And there's a lot of non-invasive, meaning they don't have to cut you. Everybody's scared to go to the hospital because they're going to get cut.
Yeah.
Things like they can do an echocardiogram, that's an ultrasound in your heart, just to see if it's okay. There's places where you can go and get them for $50 to $90. I saw an advertisement on a billboard for that. They just wanted people to come in and check their heart health. The CDC has places that they're doing, you know, different heart programs. So just like you said, knowing your baseline is very important. Knowing what to watch for.
And you have to understand that there are already risk factors to a heart attack that have nothing to do with what you're doing. It's just age. You're getting older. Your heart is aging. So, of course, the function is going to start to minimize.
Genetics.
So if you already, and you could have, or genetically predisposed to heart issues and not even know it because you're not checking in every year and getting a family history. That's the other thing we have to start doing. Talk to your parents and grandparents or aunts and uncles, whoever the patriarch or the matriarch of the family is that is knowledgeable about your family history. You need to know it and you need to share it with your doctor. Right. You don't need to keep that a secret, and we don't need to keep generational secrets about what happened to grandma and grandpa. You need to know those things because it could affect you, especially if it's genetics. If it's a genetic heart condition, you don't know anything about it, and the first time you find out is when you have a heart attack. That's not cool. So if you're already having, gender, it plays a role. A lot more men have heart attacks than women. So,
carrying all your weight in the abdomen is a risk factor.
Exactly. And that's even for diabetes too. So we talk to y'all about extra abdominal fat and how it can affect you. It's a serious thing because we tell you all the time that diabetes, heart disease, all those things are connected. They run together like a little click. And the other things that could put you at risk of a heart attack is lifestyle. We talk about that all the time. If you are not physically active, if you don't eat a healthy diet, if you eat a lot of fast foods or you eat out a lot, if you're smoking, drinking a lot of alcohol, then you're at higher risk of having a heart attack. And then the statistics here say that if you've already had one, now you're at higher risk of having another one. That's scary. Like, dang, I had a heart attack. I made all these changes, but I'm still at risk of having another one. So don't have one. Let's prevent it from the jump so that you don't ever have to be in the bracket of high risk. And then lowering your cholesterol is another way to prevent a heart attack. We talk about that all the time. That's all the fat in your arteries. That's what the cholesterol is.
That's what they're plaquing.
Yeah,
We
fatty
talking about
foods,
is, yeah.
greasy, fried foods all the time. You're gonna have high cholesterol. You can't get away from it.
Don't let Chick-fil-A fool you.
Right, and don't
I'm
let
glad. That's
weight fool you either,
Yeah.
because just because you're obese doesn't mean you're gonna have high cholesterol. There are people who are underweight or average for their bracket, age, gender, whatever. Their BMI is good, but they have terrible heart health.
And there are children, because I went to school with them, that had high cholesterol, and we was in 2nd grade, and it's because family genetics. It had nothing to do. They were
Yeah.
perfectly fine. All the other vital signs for them, they was literally born, and they had to make diet modifications at a very early age.
And with cholesterol, you gotta have so much good and so much bad. Like my sister's, her good cholesterol was too low because she was eating extremely healthy. My kids wouldn't even eat her food. They was like, Mama, it's too healthy. But it's a good thing, but you do have to watch it. So knowing your numbers, going to your primary care physician, if you are starting a diet, they need to be following up with you. But you need to be tapping in with them because you don't know how these changes are affecting you. You might be thinking that you're on the right path. Like my daddy got on this olive oil kick. We didn't know he was deep frying his food in olive oil.
Yeah.
Which ran his bad cholesterol number up. He was putting himself in stroke and heart attack range.
Yeah,
But he thought, you hear something on TV, olive oil is healthy.
it's better than
Not deep
canola
fried.
and vegetable.
The doctor said, well, how did you get it hot enough to deep fry the okra, Rick?
That's funny.
That sounds good.
And he like extra crispy. Probably extra
Too
greasy.
hungry. Too hungry right now.
But we going to wrap this up and go into our next segment.
Yes.
And it is the
Health information tip of the week. Welcome back, Noties. It's time for Nurse Note's hit of the week. I need a hit. Yeah. All right, you guys. So our second segment of the evening is our health information tip of the week, brought to you by none other than Erica Hall.
Yes, Visionary CPR. Check Erica out for all your CPR needs. ACLS, BLS, PALS, and just basic, I can't think of it, life support.
Yeah.
You need to know how to say to people around you, because if the heart stops ticking, tissue is time is tissue. You need to just start pumping. And you need to know where to be pumping, because you don't need to just be doing the stuff you saw on TV. Grey's Anatomy is fake news, okay?
And I was
Go
going to say,
ahead.
we're finna start getting into the fall and winter, and we're going to have different functions. If anything happens, you want to know how to help.
Right. So contact Erica and she can
Thank you, Erica.
get you together with all your needs. So this segment, we just wanted to talk about moderation, which is something we hit on all the time. Like we said, if you hear us saying it all the time, it is because it's super important and it applies over so many things that we talk about. So when we talk about heart health and things like that and diet, everything in moderation.
Everything.
That includes alcohol.
So how did y'all incorporate that in your day? Like how in your lifestyle change?
I went
Tell 'em about
from
it.
daily use of alcohol to about 2 days a week.
Amen.
Y'all know that was a big deal.
But tell them what you
Because
did
we
with that.
We out here on the front lines.
Tell them what you did with that. Like, not only did you decrease it to 2 days a week, but what did you change when you went to
Oh,
the
look at
store?
how she.
I
changed what I was drinking.
Yeah.
Like a big girl.
And how much? Like, what she bought to take home?
Baby,
So-
because we was popping bottles, driving a boat. That's what we was doing. Let's be honest, because again, being in the front
So we
lines
went
is a
from
big
leaders
deal.
to what the
We went
didn't
from
even know what they were
big
called.
bottles to little bitty cute baby bottles.
She was in the thing talking about, the littlest one.
The littlest one.
Don't even know what to call it because she always
You
bought a
bought
big
that.
body.
Bought the big Douce bottles. And then we don't even drink Douce right now.
That brown.
Yeah.
That brown. Anyway, but I'm very proud of myself.
Veronica, can you tell us about something
I
that
can.
you've done?
I had some help.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I ain't ashamed. People try to.
Don't be.
Let me tell you something.
That's not a help.
It's a
It
tool.
I'm
took-
trying to tell you.
It is.
It's
It's
a
a tool.
It's a tool.
It took me.
But it ain't
how
easy.
many? 16 to 20. It took me 5 years from the first time I went to an appointment with my mom, and she went to see her doctor, and he just came for me. Out of nowhere in the appointment, he says, so when are you going to do something about being overweight?
Told you they could.
And he was African. He was African, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? My mama was mortified. She was like, what? You coming from my, like, no, that's not. But me being a clinician, I didn't take it like that. I was like, well, honestly, I've been trying since 2013 to lose weight. He was like, well, how much success have you had? I said, I always lose about 30, 40 pounds and then stop. He was like, so why do you keep doing that? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, why do you keep doing those diets? I said, well, it's a lifestyle change. I said, a lot of the things that I've changed since having my last son, I don't do anymore. I'm not addicted to Dr. Pepper anymore. I don't put salt in my foods. I said, those changes have stuck with me. He was like, but you're still not losing the weight you want to lose. I was like, no. He was like, do you not think that this could be in your genes? He's like, obesity is a disease. You're not, set aside from it, so why don't you do something about it? So he was trying to talk me into the gastric sleeve. Like I said, wouldn't I do it? I did it in June. I had the sleeve. 55 pounds later, I had a physician, the one I just fired. She told me, this is the only thing I can give her credit for. She kept telling me that the nerve pain that I had from that surgery that was damaged, would decrease if I lost weight. She was like, you're just overweight, you won't hurt. But she wasn't saying it in a way for me to correlate the two. I just knew to do that because I'm clinical. She was just rude about it. She was like, you need to lose weight and you'll stop hurting. And I'm like, look. But she was right. So 55 pounds later, I don't even take Lyrica anymore. Yay. So the nerve pain does come, but it doesn't saturate my day to where I feel depressed and I feel like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to move around. It increased my quality of life, and it is a tool, you guys, because I can still eat unhealthy foods and still gain weight.
Please tell them.
With the surgery. So I still had to keep making changes.
You can't put sour cream on everything.
You still have to eat better. You still have to exercise.
You can't eat potatoes
What it does, exactly. It just decreases the amount of food that you take in at one meal. That's all it does. Everything else is still on you. It's still on you.
Everything is very much on you.
And we told y'all we're making changes right along with y'all. So again,
so
if y'all
everything
want to do a
for me is still in moderation, though. I am a bread and potato girl. I haven't had bread since June.
I don't have a lot
I think I've had bread one time and it got like, I felt stuck. I can't fool with it. I'm just like, okay, I'm over the bread. I don't have to have it anymore. And I don't eat potatoes like that because I don't like to feel full like that.
I used to eat pasta. I lived at Olive
I was
Garden.
a pasta
baby. I still
girl.
cook salads. But I used to eat nothing, lasagna.
Yes,
I'm talking about 2-3 times a week. No more, because it goes straight to the...
Yeah,
to the
I
gut,
may
baby.
or may not eat some pasta maybe once over a period of 3 weeks. And that's a very slight possibility that I eat it because it fills me up. I don't like that feeling. So it's a tool. The surgery is a tool, and it teaches you that some of that stuff you really just don't have to have, and you don't need it as much as you
gotta
think.
stop the brain.
Yes.
And that's what
Yeah.
surgery
It is the
helps
brain.
you because you gonna stop for a minute anyway. You ain't gonna want to put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
The one thing I did is I stopped sweets because I'm a sweet eater. So I drink my protein shake. And I ate my vitamins because I need them.
Yeah.
Because I had the sleeve, a form of the sleeve like 10 years ago. So weight gain can come from protein deficiency, vitamins. I didn't know that. So it's like a learning. You always learning. So your vitamins, like a lot of people like, oh, I don't take no vitamins. I'm healthy.
You
can't eat
Everybody
enough
needs
vitamins.
vitamins.
Yeah.
Nobody's eating the vitamins that they need. So
There's not the food is not nutrient dense, so you need
Right.
vitamins.
And that's the thing that the body does. If you're not taking a vitamin, the reason you gain weight is because your body holds everything that you eat like this, tight. Like, I'm going to keep this because I'm not getting this. So I'm going to hold on to this and I'm not going to let go of that. And so
It's
you
gonna try
will
to make
see,
it.
you'll see a weight gain.
And if you don't have a lot of protein, there will be fluid outside of the cells and outside of the vessel.
or
and
you can
start
get rashes
swelling.
on your
Yeah.
skin. So if you
Yes.
already have eczema, let me tell you something.
It's
If
gonna
you
turn
get this
up.
surgery, you better make sure your protein intake is on point and your muscle wasting. So you gotta have it. And protein is good for people that didn't. I mean, anyway,
yeah.
start with your protein. And we are going to wrap this up, and we're going to cut into commercial. We'll see y'all back in a moment.
Welcome back, Notees. Thank you once again for tuning in to tonight's show, Heart First, Part 2. We talked to you about heart facts, heart attack 101, and some moderation. We talked to y'all about everything.
Mm-hmm.
DASH diet. We've been giving you a lot of facts. We hope that everything that we said has helped at least one person. If not, if you have questions, concerns, comments, please don't forget to hit us up, like, follow, share, subscribe, DM us. Let us know what information you're lacking, what you need. If you don't know it, we'll find it.
Tell them how to subscribe.
Please go listen. I know y'all have seen that QR code that's out there floating around.
Ain't it cute?
Go to our website if you haven't, www.officialnursenotes.com. Click the link. Go to YouTube, top or the bottom. Hit subscribe, turn on the alerts, the little bell,
cute little
turn
thing.
up, so every time we go live for a show, you'll get a notification. If you don't do YouTube, you absolutely are only on Facebook, go to Vila Kula Radio, hit like and follow, and every time we go live, you'll get a notification. Okay?
That's the way to stay in the know.
Exactly. So for our third topic, we just kind of wanted to share some of our experiences, either personal or on the floor, with heart attack and how it affected us and, you know, the patient or the person in our life, and how it changed maybe our perspective or how we operate as nurses in this profession.
So I'll jump in. The reason I went back to nursing school is because my mom had her first heart attack. Now, we ain't gonna talk about what she was doing when she had a heart attack, but I'm getting a knock on my door 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and my daddy going to work, and my mama like, I can't breathe. So I take her to the hospital. That being said, they did an EKG. She a black woman. She gonna be alright. We discharged her. Like, they gave her some morphine, because that's all she was in there for.
Drugs.
She dark skinned black, so they think, I'm just gonna be honest, dark skinned black people come to the ER, you just needed a hit. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You didn't have what you needed, so you came to get what you wanted, and you said chest pain. There's a doctor that came in at 6 o'clock in the morning. He was like, where is Miss Stevenson? Where is she at? Like, he's frantic. The other doctor had not even looked at my mom's EKG. My mom had a massive heart attack on her EKG. That little diagnostic tool. He was like, I know y'all didn't discharge her. It's saying discharge in the system. I can hear him. I said, Mama, quit taking your clothes off. Don't take that. She trying to take the IV out, girl. She trying to go smoke a cigarette at this point. Girl, they said, I'm going, I'm about to go get a cigarette. No, you not. So he comes in there. I'll never forget this man. He was the coolest ER doctor. And he was like, baby, you done had a heart attack. We finna have to send you upstairs. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And just like that, my mom had her first heart attack. So she, you know, we want to be super women. She had the heart attack. They did a cath lab. They took her to the cath lab, saw that she had, you know, a massive heart attack. Her boss come. She go back to work. Within a few days, she had her second heart attack within a week of the first one. So that statistic that we talk about, you're more than likely to have another one. Yeah.
Very true.
You have to rest. You've had some heart death, muscle tissue death.
And it takes time to recover.
It takes time to recover. So I said, just seeing how my mom was treated after that, because then she had to get a pacemaker. It was just like a whole history. She went through depression because now she can't work. The second one took her heart off the map with ejection fraction. She couldn't do normal activities without feeling like breathless, like we're talking about. Like she couldn't catch a breath. Just doing, like, it would take her longer to clean the house. So she sure couldn't go back to work. We're not even gonna talk about the SSI process. You work all your life and then you can't even get the help that you need. But that's the story. I was like, oh, I gotta go to nursing school, because if one more chick coming here talking to my mama like that, I'm gonna snatch all her little hair follicles off her head. I can do this job. So I wanted to be a doctor, and then I was like, And I just was fast food management, let me just do that. And I was like, nah, I gotta do what I was purposed to do.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that.
Man, I guess I'll go next. For me, I did always want to be a pediatric doctor. That's what I said I was gonna do. But
I wanted to deliver the babies to you.
See,
I want to be obstetrician.
I just really thought that's what I wanted to do, and I did. It was in my heart from the time I was young. I was gonna be a pediatric doctor. But I did life a little different. I had kids first, so I was in college, dropped college to go take care of my kids. So as time went on, I was like, I stayed in the medical field. I was always doing something medical, and then finally I went to nursing school. So my first experience with somebody having a heart attack was in the ER. I was actually right out of nursing school. We were supposed to, I did what they call a tech program through the hospital, where we worked as nurse techs up under the nurses, kind of like we had CNA duties, but we were allowed to do nursing tasks with the supervision of an actual nurse. And so I was placed on a floor that was nephrology on one side and IMC on another. And sometimes the nurses up there didn't want to work with techs, so they would send us somewhere else. So they had sent me to the emergency room, and of course they wanted me to sit with the RNs that were triaging and learn how to intake information. Well, in the state of Texas, as LVNs, technically we're not allowed to triage, but we can collect data. So we were sitting in there, and the ER was swamped, of course, like it always is. And so when they see you in the ER, it's in order of how sick you are. So if you come in and you stump your toe, you probably won't be seen before the person that's having chest pain.
Just
So somebody came in an ambulance for chest pain. And so the nurse that was training me, they called her from the place where she was to train me, said, hey, we need you to get over here, do this, this, and this. So she left me with someone that was not as sick, take the temperature, do all those things. So once I was done, it wasn't, I don't even think it was 5 minutes, and it's cold blue. That was my first time ever, I saw it on TV. I heard about it in class, but that was my first time hearing it over the loudspeaker, and I'm seeing all these people come out of everywhere to run to that particular room. And the man he had 2 heart attacks. He had a heart attack. This is what they explained to me after the fact. He had a heart attack where he got there and had another heart attack. That man had 2 heart attacks and lived.
Thank you.
He lived, but watching that, they didn't close anything off. They were up and down on this man's chest. They were shooting him up. It was just traumatic for me I wasn't even a nurse all the way to me, because you still have that graduate nurse, whatever status. You just like, I don't know, I want to do this. And it scared me half to death. I was like, damn, this man like literally was dying. And so it makes you rethink if and why you should be in nursing. And it didn't discourage me to leave. It just made me want to learn more, and like, okay, I want to be the one that's responding and going. So that's my little heart attack story.
So I'm last, okay. So my story comes from my travels, which is why I love travel nursing. You get so many experiences. But I was basically on the floor, had a new patient, because I had just started my work week. I think I had about 6 of them at the time. And one of them, no history. It was for, she was there for, I think it had to do with, what was it? GI upset. I can't think of the term right now. Not GI, I said GI bleed. So she was there for basically GI bleed. Supposed to be, you know, pretty easy patient. You know, if you need to give a blood transfusion, that kind of thing. I don't really see it as a difficult patient. Other patients, a little bit more difficult, you know, pain management or, unfortunately, COVID, anything like that. So I'm making my rounds throughout the day, and she is starting to complain about, you know, oh, my stomach. I'm saying that she has, you know, abdominal discomfort and everything because of the GI bleed. That's what comes along with it. Sometimes you get cramping pain. You may have to have some bowel movements that unfortunately have some blood in them, GI bleed. As the day goes on, I started realizing, like, hey, you know, this pain medicine ain't helping. You know, a little hydrocodone pill or something like that. So I called the doctor. Her vital signs were good, but, you know, it's starting to increase. Basically, she starts having a cold sweat, and then she starts vomiting. So then you start to put two and two together. It's like, hold on. And I will say, as a nurse, don't always trust your gut. Don't always, you know, trust what everyone else is saying. If the charge nurse come in there and say, oh, well, I don't think it's, you know,
You done spent all day.
You done spent all day with the person. Trust your gut. Something else is going on. Don't diminish your thoughts, okay? So you do an EKG, basically, yeah, she's starting to have a heart attack. Okay, basically ST elevation. Any changes, she had a normal EKG in the beginning. So any changes lets you know we finna have to make some interventions. So I just want to speak to the nurse that's on the floor. Trust your gut, because something does not feel right with your patient. Your patient knows as well. So.
And sometimes it ain't gonna show on that monitor with them vital signs.
It won't.
And
the rest of the vital signs were great.
Filling up, pumping, it's putting pressure on her stomach, but you just sometimes won't think like that because you like.
Yeah. She already here with a GI bleed, so you don't really put two and two together.
But anemia can cause ischemia.
Yeah. Because again,
the heart.
No red blood cells, lack of oxygen. What is a heart attack?
But with 6 patients, sometimes it's hard to put the story together.
Yeah.
You just
all I can say is just you better know your stuff.
Know your stuff.
And listen to your patient.
Right. Wow. How
you know,
stuff?
We had more time. I got another one too.
Baby.
I'm sure we have many.
But you
we
keep watching.
Have a nurse notes tea or something. Y'all just come. I mean, we got
and share our stories.
Yeah. Bet you gonna eat right after that. You wonder why we don't, because we taking care of y'all cousins that don't act right.
Right. All right. So that has been our last topic. We're gonna go ahead and
cut to commercial and pay the bills that got the lights right. Okay.
We'll be back, y'all.
Welcome, Notees. You are now tuned in with PBG of Nurse Notes.
Hi, I'm Pam.
I'm Veronica.
And I'm Gabby. And we are here to get you notarized. Tune in to our brand new podcast, Official Nurse Notes, on Thursdays from 7 to 8.
Where we'll share our personal journeys as nurses in healthcare
to help bring access and support to the communities around us.
Make sure you tune in, because this show is going to be lit. See you there, Notees.
Welcome back, Notees. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's show, Heart First Part 2. We talked to y'all about a lot of things tonight. Some of the things you've heard before. Repetition. Repetition. Hopefully it breeds more knowledge for you guys, and hopefully you get the point that it is important to take care of your heart first. Yeah.
Well, in closing, we just want to say thank y'all for viewing. Do everything in moderation. Protect your heart. And also your heart. Your mental health is associated with your heart. That strains your heart. When you're stressed out, that's straining your heart.
I just want to say, have a heart. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Let us know what you want to see next. And subscribe. Tell them how to subscribe again.
I just did, but I tell them
repetition.
For the old people in the room.
Please go to YouTube. Okay?
Step 1.
Nurse Notes. Type it in the search bar. It's us. If you don't see this,
scroll down till you see us.
It ain't
if you don't see this, it's not us. I saw some stuff on there. I was like, what the?
That's not us.
That's not us. If you don't see this logo, it's not us. You find this logo, subscribe, hit the button, turn the alerts on at the top where you see the little bell, and it'll tell you every time we go live. If you can't do it, Facebook.
Bring us your phone and we'll do it.
That's
I was about
it.
to say.
Because my daddy did it. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Yeah, you can do it.
You can do it.
Like, share, follow, subscribe. Tell us what you want to see, what you want to hear. We had several show suggestions, and those will be coming soon.
Thank you.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate all the feedback. We missed you guys.